Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. Going to talk about something today that can pilot you in many different directions. Some say it's a wonderful gift that we all have, a superpower, if you will, but many of us don't really harness the power of our intuition, also known as the gut feeling. You know all the answers. They're inside of you, but you sometimes can't hear them because you're not really listening. What is intuition? What is the gut feeling? And how do we recognize it? We're going to talk about that today. And she is somebody that offers coaching, counseling, many different areas, from self-improvement to guiding couples, grief, self-discovery, health and fitness, and intuition is part of that as well. Dawn Manderfeld is with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Steve?
Real good. Real good. Good. I'm a student of intuition, and I have to say I've gotten a lot better at it. And it's hard for me to say that many times about anything, but I'm getting better. What's your feeling on intuition?
So first, I'm going to start with a question. Do you think intuition comes from our thoughts, our heart, or our gut feeling?
I believe
the real strong intuition.
It is the gut feeling. I think intuition is the gut feeling. They're interchangeable. And subconsciously, I really believe that, and I try to prove this wrong, but we have the answer. You have to make a decision, choice A, choice B, whether it's what to have for dinner tonight or changing a job. You really know what the answer is. You do. You just don't hear it, or you're getting that feeling, gut feeling, but then you ignore it. Or logic comes in, your brain process, I can't be it. No. And then you pivot away from that. That's, I guess, my basic understanding of intuition and gut feeling. Does that sound like what pilots you?
It is. Intuition, when you feel something in your gut so strongly, but yet you let your emotions kind of overpower that. Then after you let your emotions overpower it, then you analyze over and over and over in your head, trying to compare your feelings, your heartstrings, to your gut feelings. And all three of them don't necessarily work well together when you have to make a decision. The majority of the time, the gut feeling is correct, as long as there isn't anger in your thoughts. Anger can really make a big difference between your gut feeling and your emotions. So when you have a decision to make, it's just so important to literally sit down and just think about, what do you want to eat? For some people, that's really easy. Oh, I like this stuff, this stuff, this stuff. For others, it's like, I really don't care, because they really don't care.
Right.
But let's say you have a big decision coming up, or you're being offered a promotion, or you have a new friendship, or you got a report from the doctor, or you got a bad phone call. Before you can really make a decision about those, and before you just blurt what comes out of your mouth, because a lot of that is built on not understanding and your feelings. And like I tell people, your feelings are valid, but they may not always be correct. Because our minds can really control our feelings a lot. And that goes with intuition also, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So you really do have to just slow down and just go, well, this is what my gut's telling me. And sometimes it's better just to go with that and to not immediately go by your feelings or your brain saying, no, that can't be true. That really can't be what's going on. And if you can't make a decision, sit down, write the pros and cons, and you'll probably end up going with your gut anyway.
I always forget to do that. I call it the scale of life, and how the pros and the cons weigh within each other. So before we get into processing the gut feeling, the intuition, what does it feel like for you when something comes up and you recognize that as, that's my gut feeling, the intuition coming through? What does it feel like for you?
I get nervous in my stomach.
When it's the right answer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. When I know that my brain is telling me not the right thing, but my gut is like nervous about it and just kind of um, tingles, I guess you could say. I
Mm,
don't really know what
mm.
the right word is to say, but I've heard people say that, my stomach is really tingling right now. What does that mean? It's like, well, then that's the decision you should be making. And it won't always correlate with our feelings, but for me, when I know what I'm supposed to do, I literally can feel it in my gut. Like I get like a nervous feeling, or it's not like butterflies. It's more like a tingling than it is butterflies, because butterflies are like, oh, that's so exciting, blah, blah, blah. But the tingling is like, oh man, really? I have to make that. Okay. And then you make that decision. You may not understand it right away, but eventually your whole body will just become peaceful because you didn't go by what you were thinking or what your feelings said. You made the right answer.
I feel the same thing. And the tingling, it usually for me is a lighter feeling, but there's some tingling involved in it. And when it's the wrong answer, it's usually heavier.
Yep.
Just like kind of just like weighing on you, like, and usually the gut feeling, the lighter one, is where your brain takes over and says, "Oh, come on, it can't be that easy." No. Then you overthink it, and usually, many times, go to the wrong answer, which was not your intuition and gut feeling, because it just looked too easy. It just can't be that easy. But there we go, overthinking again.
Yep. Yep. When you make the right decision without overthinking it, your body will get a calmness around about it. And you'll know that you did the right thing. If you're going with overthinking it and you're taking too long to make that decision, like you said, that's when my body feels heavy. And I just feel almost like, really, So there's definitely different feelings that people get, but for me, that's when I know my intuition is kicking in and that's where I'm supposed to go. Is when my stomach starts tingling. And then it's like a nervous feeling because I know that I'm either going to disappoint someone or make someone not very happy with what I'm saying, but yet I know deep down to get rid of that, that's the route I have to go. I have to make that decision.
I feel it's the right decision. Well, okay. This is how I know this works, because I can think back to all the major situations going back 30 years where I knew what the right answer was, but I didn't want to accept it. And I went with the other answer, and it turned out to be bad. Not a favorable outcome. I hate to say bad. It's just not a favorable outcome. But I remember them all, like just sitting there. I mean, I could go back about 30 years, 20 something, and was having a house built and standing there before the field with the builder and my wife at the time. And he's like, we do this. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's great. I'm like, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't be doing this. Don't do it. Like, yeah, but I'm here. Yeah, and how long for the foundation? That sounds reasonable. Okay. And then the other side of me, this is a bad idea. House got built very quickly, and I was getting divorced about a year later. And I'd already been married for a number of years. It was just second home, just moving on up. Knew it was not the right answer. And I could tell you where I was standing, angle of the sun, what I was doing at the time, what I was holding in my hands. Yeah. I'm there right now. I can see it crystal clear. And I even feel the feelings of don't do it, do it, don't do it, do it. And that's just one example, but it's seeing the wrong answer is how I realized that the intuition it's got the right answer. Do you remember situations?
Oh, I do. When you're doing that, my head's spinning, going back to my mid 20s to like my mid 30s, and, being married, moving away from family, having kids, trying to figure out school, trying to figure out, all this kind of stuff. And I literally can in my head do the same thing you did. I know how much snow was on the ground. You literally, it's like a storybook stuck in your head
Yeah.
when you let yourself go back there. And I agree 100%. It was during that time that I realized, okay, it was this deep feeling in my gut that I should have followed, not the soft one in front of it. It's like that was like the easy way to satisfy somebody or to make my situation I thought easier. It didn't. It was every single time I've done that, it's been a disaster. And it has proven to I just went down the right road, the wrong road. I made the wrong decision, and sometimes we're not the only ones that pay for it. Other people
Yeah.
do, but when you're a people pleaser, the hardest thing is to go by your gut feeling.
Yes, and I wasn't even factoring that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So to your point, even that one situation 7 years ago, when I dig a little deeper, others were involved. It wasn't just a sole decision, and that actually influenced it. But I also like to test the intuition, and I'll give you an example. And this happened just last night, and it's goofy, but I'm standing behind it. So once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, I meet up with my best friend since junior high, and we go to this little pub in town. Been going there since we were in our 20s. Not every week, but it was back there back in the day. Best hamburgers, best steak, super cheap, and they always have specials. So we're there last night, and we get our token 2 beers, right? One for him, one for me, and they give you a card, and it's got pull tabs on it, and you pick a number 1 through 5, and you could pay full price, half price, 10 cents. So last night, beverages on the counter, and the card comes up, and the person at the restaurant says, "All right, pick a number." And I'm like, "Give me a moment," and I just close my eyes. And I visualize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I scan them back up and down, what I'm feeling. And last night, kept going to 2. I like 2. 2's it. Opens the card up. The whole thing cost us 10 cents. Not even kidding. Not even kidding. And we got something else, and I tested it, but I didn't take the time. I felt rushed. There was somebody in back of me, and I was just like, 5. Full price. Is that legit? I don't know, but I can tell you with certainty that I was seeing the number in my mind, and that was the number. And that, 10 cents. That was the bill.
Well, I can't say that about pull tabs for myself, but I have definitely had that happen where I've been at different conferences or something, and you walk in and you have to choose like who you want to sit with because those are the people you have to work with the whole weekend. And I've had where I've just scanned the whole room, and I just keep getting fixated on this one table, and I'm like, okay. And to be honest, how you look at certain people that you've never met before, and you just start thinking, okay, that looks businesslike. Okay, that one just looks like they, that they're here to learn, like they really don't know anything. And is that person going to be able to help me? And I just kept going to that one table. And I was like, but I was kind of drawn to this other table because everybody there was smiling and laughing and having a good time already. And I'm like, oh, they're bubbly. I like to be bubbly. I'm going to pick that one. But then my gut kept telling me to go to this other table. And so that was the one time I went with my gut feeling and went to the other table. And it was definitely, in a huge, amazing, godly way, that was the right table that I was supposed to have. And by the end of the conference, the giggly, laughy table couple of them, left early. One of them stood up and just said, this is ridiculous. I don't even know why I wasted my money. It was like, everything was like too good for them. But I had 10 tables to pick from, and I kept being drawn to table number 3, table number 3, table number 3. Why number 3, But I did go to table number 3, and it was definitely, that was the right decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first went there, I'm thinking, oh, because they weren't really talkative. They were really kind of serious, and which is fine for conferences. It was one where we were learning stuff. But as we got into it, our conversations, where our brains thought, where we wanted to go with, our business or the place that, we were trying to get better at, we all connected so well. And it was so encouraging. I left there so fulfilled. It was amazing. But I kept seeing the number 3. That's the third table. Go to the third table, and it was the quietest table in the room. Everybody was just down looking at their notes and doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, how much above my head is this table going to be? And it wasn't. It was like the best decision that I made. Now, if I were to go back, way back, 20 plus years, I had a hard time saying no. So when my intuition would say no, I would say yes, because you're a superwoman back then. You don't want to let anybody down. You want to be there to help everybody in the world, because you can make it work. And I made a couple good messes by not going by my intuition and going solely on my feelings and my emotions. And not everybody who asks for help, not everybody who needs your help or needs help, it's not always you that's supposed to help them. And that's what I learned out of that. And it took me until my mid 40s to be able to be comfortable with saying no and literally going with my gut feeling. And now I tell my kids, I said, don't wait as long as me. Don't say yes to everybody. Go by your gut feeling, because then you're going to dread it. It's going to stress you more than it's going to stress them. And half the time, they're not going to appreciate it anyway.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're feeling no, when you engage in whatever the yes was supposed to be, you're probably not doing them justice anyway, because you're not really fully invested in it. Yeah, you want to support and take care of them, but you probably, 1 foot out the door, but I'll help you move. Meanwhile, you got 15,000 different things over here. And you say, yeah, sure, I'm going to say yes. Yeah. And your gut is telling it, no. I'll share, talked about medical before, and we talked offline about my skin cancer situation. Stitches right here. Got it done. I was told it was stage 3. And my gut was telling me, after the initial what? Something just said no. And I met with the surgeon who performed surgery on my mom for something similar. And the moment I saw him again, and that was like 8 years ago, I saw him, I knew right away, we're good. He's got me. This is gonna be good. And as soon as he said, I think it's an inflammation, it's not stage 3, but we're going to check. He just backed up what I was feeling anyway. I just needed a medical professional to agree in my mind. Yes. And it was a mistake. The doctor previously, 2 of them, that said, it looks like stage 3. I got to tell you, don't mess with that. I just didn't believe it. I didn't. And I know it sounds crazy, but I was going with my intuition. It's like, I'm not going to worry about it. And as I even waited for the biopsy, I'm not going to worry about it, because it doesn't seem right. And whether you believe in psychics or not, I have a number of friends who are legit, I believe, psychics, a lot of phonies out there. From day one, she kept saying, don't worry about it. You're fine. And then I got the stage 3 word. And I'm like, I just want to let you know what they said. She goes, you're fine. It's not in lymph nodes. Don't even worry about it. You're all good. And she was I'm not, super religious, but she was on vacation at the Vatican. And she said, I prayed for you in front of the Pope. And she goes, it's nothing. And that's what it turned out to be. Nothing. And I went with, and now imagine if I didn't go with my intuition and I, sat with that for like a week and a half. I drive myself crazy. But my intuition told me, no, 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 believe it. It's okay. Um, was that intuition? I don't know, but I really think it was.
Yeah, I've had the same thing happen with some health symptoms and health different things. And I'm like, I just need a second opinion, but I want to check around to see who I should go to. And I've had the same thing,
Mm.
you know.
Now, did your intuition tell you that you need to go to another doctor?
Yes. I've had that twice happen
Mm. And you knew it.
where I literally knew that that was not the right person that I was supposed to be dealing with. And so I didn't.
Mm. And same. And actually, in my situation, it was a doctor I used previously, and he's wonderful, and I still think he is. He didn't say stage 3. He said, tap the brakes on that. This could be something very serious. But instead of him saying, he was going more to the bad negative side as opposed to saying, just wait, might not be as bad as you think. Just, wait. He was already rolling down that road. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that was his opinion. And I get, my best interest was in his hands. So I guess maybe he wanted to push me, to continue. But the other doctor said stage 3. I remember the phone call. He's like, yeah, you're considered stage 3 right now. Yeah.
I know I've had people say, well, how do you know your intuition or whatever?
Mm.
And as we've shared before in other ones, I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do pray. I read my Bible. I go to church. I worship. I do all that. And I think a lot of that is when I give God the first moments of my day, I think he really helps me to make those decisions by giving me that gut feeling and by, sharing with me the no's and the yeses and do this one and not that one. And so I know as you bring up psychics that you go to and everything like that, I know people who do that same thing. And for me, I have that same belief in my spirituality, and I think that God really does guide you too if you ask him to know what decisions are right. Because it's not always easy to make the right decision. I guess, how do I put it? I have it. Okay. So making a right decision, like intuition, it can break our hearts sometimes. And it can make us sad, and it can make us just really, really like, oh, I can't believe I had to do that. But it will bring you peace when it's the right decision that you made. And that goes with however people want to think about intuition, is that you will know when you made the right decision. It may not feel good that day. And sometimes it's instant. Have you ever had that really deep gut feeling and you knew that you were going to make somebody not happy, or it was going to like mess up someone's life challenges or life changes or whatever, but instantly you feel that peace instantly? Okay, that was absolutely the right decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Usually, and then sometimes you go through the whole day going, okay, was that right? Was that right? I can't take it back. Now it's too late. I hope that was right. And then as the day goes on and you go home, the next day you wake up and go, oh, I'm so glad that I did do that, And you can't always control the situation, and you can't always control if it's dealing with someone else. You can't always control how they're going to handle your decision.
Yep.
But they're going to have to come to grips with it, because sometimes our decisions for us and where we are in life are not going to be for everybody we spend time with. We're not going to be in the same level. We're not going to be in the same way of life as everybody that we spend time with. So did we disappoint them? Yes. But for us, for our health, for our mind's sake, for everything, did we make the right decision with our intuition? Yes.
I think it goes back to a point you made before. It's usually the no answer. When you say that, that's the one that, is uncomfortable, but it's the right answer. And it might not be the answer that somebody else initially wants to hear, but beautifully said, it's the best for all. It's the best for all. You, the other person, it feels, dirty and uncomfortable sometimes at that moment, but no No is a complete sentence, and sometimes you need to offer it up, especially if you feel it. Like,
Yeah. And that's the same thing with yes.
Sure.
Sometimes, like my plate is so full. No, I'm not taking on anything else. But in your gut, it's going, no, I want you to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then your mind is going, how on earth am I going to fit? No way. But you say yes anyway. And it was absolutely the right decision to make. It could just transform you, change you, put you in a direction that you didn't even know was open. It could open doors.
Totally.
So yeah.
I have something floating out there tonight that I was invited to, and it's probably the right thing for me to go, but I haven't really sat with it yet. I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I'm going to go, and in a half hour and be like, why did I drive a half hour to get here? I guess I'll wait it out and then go, leave. I haven't processed it yet, so I don't have the answer. I don't.
So what time do you have to have the answer by?
I'm supposed to be there at 6 p.m. and I guess leave at 5:30. So yeah, I make a decision. I have to decide what I'm going to do.
But some things like that, you can take it or leave it, and you probably won't get a gut feeling.
Yeah, it's nothing critical or anything, but it's
but do I really want to do it, or do I just want to go home?
But either way, you know the answer. I know deep inside, and I got to block things out and just listen to the answer and not.
So what's the answer?
I don't know. I have to sit with it.
Oh, okay. You haven't gotten it yet.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't sat with it. I'm still, kind of like, I'll get to that later. I'm trying to live more in the moment lately. So instead of marinating on it, I'll just like 2:00, I'll listen to my mind and see what it says. So good talking with you about this today. I'm not crazy, I don't think. Because you feel the same things and explain them very clearly. And that's why you are our professional of the year. How do we find you?
You can go to my website, which is livingbb.org. You can email me at donrenee@livingbb.org, and my phone number is 952-200-1103.
Renee, I want to double check. How do you spell that?
RENAE.
Okay, yeah, just double checking that it wasn't two E's there at the end. And I will tell you this: Living BB stands for beautifully broken. That for me, since we met, has become an accepted term in my vocabulary. Like we started, in the last year or so, people say mindset. It's a big word, mindset. Even manifestation. Those are kind of like buzzwords that I feel are floating around as we're all more aware of this stuff, spirituality and everything. Beautifully broken for me is with it. It rides with it because it explains what we are. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
It's acceptable to be BB.
Yeah. I've literally had that came to my mind in my 20s, literally.
Wow.
So I've had that written down for years.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. It's very, very deep to my heart.
And 20 years ago, if you said, yeah, I'm beautifully broken, it wouldn't, I don't think it would go over as well.
Probably not, but when I look in the mirror and I think of my past, I'm like, I really am beautifully broken.
Oh, 100%.
Bring it on. Woohoo.
Absolutely. And what's funny? Like, to your point, 5 years ago, if I had, stitches down my neck, I'd be like, oh my God, what are people going to say? Now I'm like, I don't really care. Check it out. It doesn't even bother me anymore.
Well, if I would have thought 20 years ago, I would have been a divorced woman, a mom of 4, having extra bonus kids in my home, getting remarried, losing a husband to cancer, and going on and on and on. I don't know if I don't know. I just, every single one is so powerful.
Yeah.
By the choices that you make. So sometimes you don't want to go back and think, you can't be where you are today if you keep going back and processing what it took to get you where you are today.
For sure.
Honestly.
For sure. And I say this one particular friend, and he gets it, and I'm going to say it here carefully. We're all blanking warriors. When you think of what we've been through, the majority of us really think deeper. We're all, insert the word, blanking warriors.
Well, if we knew way back then what we'd be going through, we wouldn't even want to be here.
No, we'd be like, I can't do
No,
it.
it's like, no,
Yeah, you're right.
take me, I'm done. But
You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, we'd said, this is not for me. This is not what I signed up for. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But then when you look back, it's like, wow, powerful. Always wonderful talking with you, Dawn.
Well, you have a blessed week now and happy Valentine's Day.
Then there's that. Yeah, love everyone, trust few, and do the right thing.
Yep.
All right. We'll catch up soon, okay?
Hey, bye.
Thanks. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.